How did the civil rights movement affect you as a person?
Since I was born in Mississippi, back before the civil rights really started out, we had some very dear friends that were plantation owners, and they took great care of their workers that were black. They had a school for them, they had a hospital, they took care of all their needs. They were more or less like their children or like their family. When I moved to Texas, I assumed that everything was the same way like that. I did not have any feeling one way or the other about black or white. There just wasn't a lot of black people around that I knew. When my father decided to raise rabbits, we moved to a different area of Fort Worth, and my mother was adamant that I not go to the school that was required to go there because it was dominantly black.
So they did have white and black schools?
So, well, it wasn't segregated like that, but it wasn't a law, but it was unknown. I didn't know it, and I was very surprised whenever she had such a fit and went down and talked to the principal. And the way she got around it was she told him if they did not let me transfer, she would send me to Catholic school.
Did you have anyone in your life that was black that was a friend of yours or that you ran around with or anything?
But the time I really understood a little bit about race was in the 60s, and I lived in California and Los Angeles, Hollywood, and we ran around with Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., and I remember thinking it was really rude when we'd go into the clubs and they would say, "Smile, Sammy Davis, so we can find you."
Do you consider yourself or your family racist during the time?
When I was born, I had a nanny, and she was black, and her name was Mamie, and she saved my life. I swallowed a leaf, and she picked me up on my heels and got it out. So as far as I was concerned, she was fantastic. So as far as being racist, I just assumed that I never thought about it, really. I knew that there were black fountains and white fountains, and it really didn't make an impact on me one way or the other. I knew that my parents took care of her and were very dedicated to her until she died. So,
would you consider her part of your family back then?
Yeah.
If people asked?
To an extent. She would not live in our house. We had a small guest house behind her. That's where she lived.
You witnessed things that was done to the black people. Did you ever do that?
Yes.
What happened to you that you saw?
What happened to me that I saw? Later on in life, when my parents got older and needed more help and I was not available to be right there with them, we hired different people to come and stay in the house and take care of them and so forth. And one of the wonderful, dear friends of mine, her name is Willie Faye, and she lived, she loved my parents. She was black, and I would take her home, and she said, and she would never let me come completely into the area where she lived because she said it wasn't safe. And I said, "Oh, Willie Faye, that's ridiculous." I said, "Nobody cares." "Oh, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. You just can't come over here." So that, to me, I wasn't afraid to go there, but she was afraid for me to go into her neighborhood because she feared that I would not be treated nicely because I was white. We've been friends for years and years and years.
Are y'all still friends right now?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. In fact, she called me just the other day. We talked, and we both love my parents. They were, they were terrific. Like I said, I was an only child. I accumulated a lot of family along the way, and she's part of my family. And she's a wonderful lady. Should have been.
But did you ever feel bad
I felt bad that she had to live there. I felt bad that she felt afraid to let people that she knew come into her environment. I felt badly that they had barbed wire on her gates. I mean, I was just appalled at that. But she was fearful.
So, were you ever ashamed to be a white because you saw how they treated the blacks, and then you were friends with some of them?
Oh, I'm ashamed of how people treat people anyway. Black, white, green, or yellow. I mean, you can be, yes, I'm very ashamed that ashamed of how people act. Not necessarily because of their race or their color, because there's some mean people out there. There's some very arrogant and prideful people that treat everybody badly. And yes, they did treat the black people like slaves, and like they were still slaves, although they were not.
All right. Well, thank you for letting me
Thank you very much.
interview your life. So yeah.
Okay.